guys, it's Meg. What's up? What's poppin'? Welcome to the podcast. People all over the internet keep saying 2026 is the new 2016. But what does that mean? And I'm going to be honest, I don't actually have a specific source up until the end because there was just so many different articles I was reading off of. I was reading off of people, off of like random news stations, websites. Who else? I was thinking it was Vogue I was trying to read off, but I had to subscribe and I was like, I'm not paying $12 to read one article. But anyways, all these articles were basically saying the same exact thing. 2016 was a simpler time. It was before all the crappy political stuff was happening, and it was before AI. That was another really big thing it was mentioning. It was saying that reliving 2016 or wanting to bring back 2016 gives us a feeling of nostalgia because it was a decade ago, which is crazy to think about that. I feel like 2016 was literally just the other day. I feel like just the other day I was throwing on the dog face Snapchat filter and I was oversaturating everything. But also, not to skirt, but Hey Guys, it's Meg is very much inspired by YouTube around this time frame. So this episode is actually a bit, what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess nostalgic for myself because I really wanted a podcast episode that had that vibe of like, hey guys, welcome to my channel with like the oversaturation, but I can't oversaturate anything here. I guess I could do something funny with my voice, but that's too much work. But that's like the vibe I was going for with Hey Guys, it's Meg. I wanted something that was very like old school YouTube, a little space where like people can come and just have a great time. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so this was also saying all the articles that this was before AI and that AI is basically ruining social media. You know, because there's no longer authentic posts, everything's so fake, and AI is definitely getting out of control and taking over everything. Even though I am myself guilty of using it in the past. I know. But you live and you learn. You learn from your mistakes. What else were these articles saying? Oh yeah, and then I decided to go into top 2016 moments to bring us back into Guys, we have back in time music. I completely forgot about that. We haven't used that. Did we even use that last season? You know what? Let's cue the back in time music here. All right, you guys ready to enter back in 2016? These are just some top moments that I picked out. I didn't choose everything because there was some messy drama between like Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, and Calvin Harris. So here are just some moments from 2016 that we're going to talk about. So Beyonce dropped her Lemonade album. I remember how iconic and big this was at the time. Like people I knew were so excited about her Lemonade drop. Another moment, let's give this man a round of applause. Leonardo DiCaprio finally won an Oscar. Yep, it took him all that time to win an Oscar. He finally won one in 2016. I remember there were so many memes about him not having an Oscar. He finally won one in 2016. Hey, what's up? It's Editing Meg. So I got curious to see how many more Oscars Leo DiCaprio has won since 2016. And he hasn't. He is nominated this year for one, so who knows? Maybe 2026 will be the new 2016 and Leo can win another Oscar. Another huge thing was the mannequin challenge. I'm seeing videos nowadays of people redoing the mannequin challenge, and it's just so realistic. I don't know how people stay still that long. It's actually so cool to watch. What was the song, though, that went to the mannequin challenge? There was a very specific song you had to use, and I did not write that down. So maybe Editing Meg can come in now with that. I don't know why I couldn't remember the name, but it's Black Beatles by Ray Shimard featuring Gucci Mane. Snapchat filters were a huge thing, especially the dog one or the flower crown. When I tell you, when I go back and look at old photos of myself, they are literally just the dog filter. I just have dog filters. And if it's not the dog filter, it is so heavily saturated. Like I would go on Visco and just put every single filter I could on top of it. It was actually crazy time. Stranger Things came out. That's crazy to think that's a decade old. Because one of the newest seasons that just, I don't watch the show. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. But I know a newest season just recently came out this year in 2026. I was going to say in 2024. That's embarrassing. Chainsmokers released their song Closer. Pokemon Go was huge and a thing. And do you guys remember? I remember that Pokemon Go made the news because people weren't paying attention when they were walking and they were literally getting hit by cars. But yeah, Pokemon Go is crazy. That's another one that I actually never got into. I blamed it on my phone having not enough storage space, but in reality, I just didn't understand Pokemon Go. Like, people would get so excited about catching certain Pokemons and everything. And Captain America Civil War was in theaters. Which, guys, feel like movie theaters just aren't the same anymore. It's a very depressing time. There was a movie theater that used to be near my house, and we would stop off at like the store before and bring snacks in, and then we would sneak the snacks into the movie theater, and I miss those days. It was so fun. Every photo on Instagram was heavily edited. I'm talking about Facetuned. Every single person had the Facetune app, and not only that, but it also had the Rio de Janeiro filter on top of it. Specifically that one. We lost some famous celebrities. I only wrote down a few because there were just so many, but we lost Carrie Fisher, Prince, George Michael, and Muhammad Ali that year. The Harambe incident happened. Let's just have a little moment of silence for Harambe here. But yeah, Harambe happened. And I thought, because I felt like Harambe and then the Tide Pod Challenge went hand in hand. I felt like they were the same year. Apparently not. Apparently the Tide Pod Challenge came like way after that. But do you remember people used to eat Tide Pods? Like there were certain challenges I was looking up and I was like, oh, that's actually not from 2016. Because to me, 2016 was very much like Vine, Tumblr, Visco, Girl. It was like that era, like Save the Turtles, Don't Use Plastic Straws. Apparently a lot of that stuff actually came later or before. What else? Are you kidding me? So I had a helicopter right before I recorded, so I waited for that to pass by. But now I think the trash truck's outside my house. Every single time lately, guys, whenever I record an episode, something's going wrong. Where was I? Oh, the water bottle flip challenge was a thing. It's back, okay? I know people who are still flipping water bottles now, and I'm like, it is the most annoying thing ever. When was the cup song? That had to have been before 2016. It definitely was before 2016. But the cup song was also a big challenge. This is, everyone wants 2016 back, right? Everyone's talking about, oh my God, 2016. Do you know what was part of 2016? Something we don't want to come back. Okay, I remember how traumatized I was about this, but I'm going to whisper it. The killer clowns. The clowns. Do you remember the clowns from 2016? When I tell you I was waiting for those men to come in 2020 with COVID, because remember 2020, there was like the murder hornets that like entered the storyline and then all of a sudden disappeared. They're like, just kidding, we got rid of it. I was waiting for the clowns to come back in 2020. These clowns better not come back. I am not doing that again. That was the most terrifying moment of my entire life, I feel like. But yeah, there was this moment where like clowns were going around like chasing people. And I remember my school went into like a lockdown because of the clowns, because like we had a threat to our school. It was the most terrifying experience of my life. Like why? I think people are forgetting about that. We do not want those back though. The next one is the 100-layer challenge. I remember watching these on YouTube where like people would do 100 layers of nail polish or 100 layers of foundation. It was kind of gross. Vine was popular. R.I.P. I feel like Vine, if they were to make a comeback now, it would be bigger than TikTok. I'm saying it. I'm putting it out there. I think Vine would be bigger than TikTok right now. If they turned around and was like, yep, Vine's coming back, I think everybody on TikTok, especially since it's changed ownership, I think everyone would immediately jump ship to Vine. So if you hear that, creators out there, you should bring back Vine. What else was there? The green jacket. Do you guys remember the green jacket? I actually found mine the other day. I apparently kept it, and I low-key want to wear her again because she's cute. Mine's like a little bomber jacket style one, but yeah, there was this one green jacket that every single girly owned. Didn't matter who you were, you had the green jacket. And choker necklaces were also extremely popular. And that's all I wrote down for that stuff, but me, being me, guys, I am a book girly through and through. I love me a good book. So I do have a source. Unfortunately, it is Goodreads. I know people don't really like Goodreads, but these are the Goodreads reader's favorite book of 2016. I wrote down some of them. I just wrote down who won that category, but in other sections, I wrote down books that I knew of. A lot of these books I did not know of though. So for fiction, Truly Madly Guilty by Leanne Moretti won. There was also The Nest by Cynthia Diaprix Sweeney. I'm going to be butchering people's names. And Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. Mystery and Thrillers, End of Watch by Stephen King won. But other books that came out that year were The Woman in Cabin 10, and that's all I wrote. Historical fiction, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead won. But there was also Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Relly and A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Tolles. For fantasy, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Parts 1 and 2 by J.K. Rowling won. But there was also A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab and All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. And you know what's crazy? As I was reading these, some of these books I have that I haven't read yet, like that All the Birds in the Sky, I bought that last year. So I feel like that could be a really fun YouTube video. if I read books from 2016. Guys, I keep coming up with YouTube ideas, but I'm not actually editing or uploading them. So I need you guys to yell at me to post, please. For romance, it was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. No words. We're just going to move on. Science fiction was Morning Star by Pierce Brown. Horror was The Fireman by Joe Hill. And then an honorable mention was The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson. For humor, it was The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo by Amy Schumer. And then Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. And Go Outside by Dan and Phil were also released that year and nominated. Nonfiction was Hamilton, The Revolution by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Sorry, I said his name so fast I thought I mispronounced it for a second. Oh, and Jeremy McCarter. And then next category, memoir and autobiographies. It was When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Calathini. Then there was Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. I forgot to mention, all these categories had like a bunch of books in. Maybe I did mention it. I just chose the ones that I recognized, either the author's name or I recognized the book cover. For history and biography, it was Leonard, My 50-Year Friendship with a Remarkable Man by William Shatner and David Fisher. For science and technology, it's Are We Smart Enough to Know How Smart Animals Are by Franz de Waal. For food and cookbooks, it was Cravings, Recipes for All the Food You Want to Eat by Chrissy Teigen. There was also The Bob's Burgers Burger Book by Lauren Bouchard and Everyday Cook by Alton Brown. For graphic novels and comics, Adulthood is a Myth by Sarah Anderson won, but there was also Black Panther 2016 to 2018, number 1 by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm so sorry. And DC Universe Rebirth 2016, number 1 by Jeff Johns. For poetry, The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace won. Then there was Beautiful and Damned by Robert M. Drake. Stuff I've Been Feeling Lately by Alicia. It's either Alicia or Alicia Cook. And Whiskey Words and a Shovel number 2 by R.H. Sin. I feel like 2016 was my poetry era. I was only reading like poetry. I feel like these years, it was very like Visco and Tumblr to be doing. For debut, Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton won. And there was also Lily and the Octopus by Stephen Rowley. For YA fiction, there was Salt to the Sea by Ruda Sepetys, who won. And then The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This Is Where It Ends by, I didn't write, my handwriting neat enough, so Martiki Nijalkamp. That was so bad, I already know, I'm so sorry. The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith, and Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. For YA fantasy, it was ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. There was also Crooked Kingdom by Leah Bardou. There was Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard, which we are skirting on Victoria Aveyard right now. So she's the one who wrote The Glass Queen? Glass Princess? What is the book called? I read it when it came out. Red Queen. So Red Queen came out in 2015. I remember reading it. I never continued. Oh my gosh, she's from Massachusetts. Oh my god, that's so cool. Anyways, got distracted. I remember I read Red Queen, but there was this book called Graceling. And I read Red Queen right around the same time that I read Graceling. And Graceling confused the heck out of me. I have no clue what that book was about. So I never continued Victoria's book, but I also didn't continue her book because at that point, that's when I was reading Delirium by Lauren Oliver still. I was reading The Uglies by Scott Westerfield. I was reading Match by Ali Condi. I just had so many dystopian type series already started that I didn't want to continue hers because I was like, there's too much going on. I was getting overwhelmed. But now I kind of want to go back and read her books again because she's not her in controversy. She keeps getting dragged into it because there's a newer book that just came out in recent times known as Powerless. And apparently it's plagiarism of her book. And people keep being like, Powerless, Red Queen is just like Powerless. And she's like, my book came out 10 years ago. I was here first. Queen. And she's standing up in her social media about the government. I need to read her books again. That was all. I needed to skirt on her. There was also The Crown by Kiara Cass and Heartless by Marissa Mayer. 2 more categories for books, guys. Sorry, I'm a book girl. I love talking about books. For middle grade, The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan won, but there was also The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. And then for picture books, The Thank You Book by Mo Willems won. And that is all of 2016's moments. But before we end this podcast episode, we're going to pull our affirmation of the week, We're using the Inspired by Frida deck by Akal Pritam. So let's cue some ASMR shuffling that's never ASMR shuffling, but maybe one day it will be. Yeah, 2016 does not feel like it was a decade ago. 10 years ago? Like, my frontal lobe wasn't fully developed. I almost just dropped a card. I almost just dropped 3 cards. I should have let that card drop because now I'm not losing any. I really need to get some more decks because I keep using the same, 2. They're just, fine. They're nice. But I feel like I would like some more options sometimes. And I could just go ask my sister to borrow hers because she has, 50 billion. But that's a lot of work. It's not. It's just I'm lazy. And I dropped one. Let me go find it. All right. Cue the drum roll, please. You can only lift others above fear with creativity, love, and a lightness of being. And that is our affirmation of the week. So the next time that you're scrolling on social media and you see that people are trying to bring 2016 back, just know it had some good moments, it had some bad moments, but either way, 2026 is going to shine through as its own unique year. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Hey Guys, It's Meg. You can follow Hey Guys, It's Meg _podcast on Instagram for updates and good times. Come back next Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern, where I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about the coquette aesthetic. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace out, Girl Scouts.